Hi, welcome to today's IG Live. It feels like forever since I have done this. I think the last one was in November, like mid-November when I did the last video tutorial for the Lauren bodysuit. So it's been like a full month, which feels really awkward because at one point I was doing IG Lives pretty much a couple times a week, at least one, probably maybe two, up to 3 times a week. So it feels like I had to ask, like, how do I do this? What tripod do I use? Did I charge my microphone? But I am really excited because today I am going to be showing you how to sew the pattern alterations and then how to sew the lace, the narrow lace onto the new DIY kit, which is a low-rise Noelle. So yesterday, I released a new DIY undie kit. It uses the Noelle panty pattern, which is like a tried and true pattern for so many sewists. But you have to lower the waistline and then you have to have a special application on the narrow lace. It is really simple to do. I think after seeing this tutorial, you're gonna be like, oh, that is so easy. But just to clear up any confusion, and sometimes it's a lot easier to see it than to read directions. I know that is the case with me. So I'm gonna walk you through the pattern alterations and then sewing the narrow lace onto the top of the panty, which you can use this for so many other applications for a scalloped lace, so it will be really helpful. Okay, so the pattern alteration is super simple. All you do is lower the Noelle pattern from the top of the waist 4 to 4.5 inches. So this is for the back. And then this is for the front, so you can see that. Move this down a bit. The only pattern alteration was that I lowered the waist by 4 inches. And then after you do that, you just want to double check and make sure that your pattern pieces match up at the side seam so that they're the same width, because if they're not, one will be longer than the other. Yep, and it's a nice smooth curve. It's like a hair, one is like a hair bigger, but for the most part it is the same length. Okay, so now I'm gonna hop over to the sewing machine and show you exactly how to sew the scallop lace onto the edge. So in order to sew the narrow lace to the top of the panty, so I have my front panty panel in front of me. You are going to lay the narrow lace on top, and you are going to overlap the narrow lace on the top of the panty about 1/4 inch. And then you are going to pin it in place. You don't have to do it at every spot, but just a couple of spots along the waistline. Now once you have it all pinned, you are going to sew along the scalloped edges using a small zigzag stitch. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to sew a straight line. You want to go along these edges with a small zigzag stitch. And as you get to one high point of the scallop, let's just say like right here, you might have to pivot and then curve in order to curve your stitches around to the next scallop. So let me set up my machine. used the contrast thread on the back so you could see that I did a small zigzag stitch along the scalloped edges. And then after you do that, what you'll want to do is use, I use duck-billed scissors, and you'll want to cut that edge super close to the zigzag stitch all the way along. If not, you'll have like this really thick black line along, so this will give you a really nice transition from the narrow lace to the panty. So it takes a little bit to do the whole length of the panty, but you will see that on the area where I did cut it away, it looks really nice. And then on the area where it's not cut away, you can see that black line from where the mesh and the butterfly lace overlap. So that'll give you a much better appearance if you cut away the mesh that's behind along the scalloped edges or your zigzag stitches. After you've done that, what you'll do is to assemble the Noelle is really easy. You just sew the front and back panty together along the side seam, and then you attach the panty elastic along the leg openings after you attach the front and back panty together along the crotch seam as well. So to repeat that, you'll sew the front panty to the back panty along the side seam and then the crotch seam. And then you'll attach the picot panty elastic along the leg openings. And then you should have a gusset or cotton jersey in here as well. So that's the tutorial for today. I think it's super simple and a really fun sew, especially over the holidays, and a great way to start the new year off with some new undies.